I saw a documentary called Images of the World and Inscription of War. It was about aerial images that the Allies unintentionally took of Auschwitz during a reconnaissance mission. This documentary was much more artistic and philosophical than a standard documentary. It had some interesting points, but there were many parts that I didn't really understand and seemed unnecessary. I had a very hard time trying to follow its train of thought, and it seemed to have very little sense of organization. It jumped around between different ideas and repeated some video clips several times at different points without any explanation, leaving it up to the viewer to figure it out, and I became lost. It also went at a very slow pace. Some of the clips that I didn't completely understand were when it had several minutes of just watching makeup being put on a woman without any sort of really explanation. This does, I guess, relate to how they had pictures of girls being photographed for the first time, and how photographs sort of capture a person, but other than that, I didn't really think it was necessary to go for several minutes just watching a woman with makeup. There was another clip like this where it just showed a wave machine lab and some waves running through it. It just went on watching the waves for several minutes and didn't really have any sort of explanation. Some of the points it made I did like, though. It talked about a picture of a Jewish girl whose picture was taken as soon as she was arriving at a concentration camp, and compared her picture to pictures of girls taken for the first time. Even though this was a bit off topic, they did make some interesting points here. The main point, that the Allies had taken an image of Auschwitz where so many horrific things were happening, yet they were unaware of what was actually going on and how far they were removed from it, and if anything could have possibly been done to help, was a rather interesting point and an interesting thing to think about. Another thing they talked about was the word die Aufklärung, which means enlightenment or reconnaissance, and they talked about the different meanings of it and how this related to the images that they had. Although it had some good points, I personally would have preferred to watch a more standard documentary on this topic.